nothing to do, month after month. How can we, as humans, allow this to happen to such intelligent creatures? Loading and transportation of animals is also a frightening experience. They have to be herded up slippery gangways and pushed into metal trucks. Of course they get scared and try to run. Wouldn't you? Yet they are often hit and kicked just because they are frightened. Listen to these video clips. Once loaded, a long, hot, cramped journey may lie ahead, not only over land, but sometimes by sea.
This is how cattle, whether from Zimbabwe, South Africa or elsewhere, spend 7 or 8 days out on the open sea, in a dark and dingy world. Cattle destined to be slaughtered in Mauritius to satisfy the demand for fresh meat in that country. And the deeper into the bowels of the ship we went, the more horrifying the picture became. This animal was trampled to death. Once it lay down, it probably just could not get up again. There were too many other animals fighting for space. And either heat or overcrowding forced this animal into the water trough. And this was a sight none of us had seen before, a bovine that is so hot that it pants like a dog.
Abattoirs are the final destination. There are rules as to correct handling, but in many abattoirs, these rules are ignored and substandard methods are employed, causing terror to these innocent creatures.
Immense suffering can be inflicted at slaughter, both through incorrect stunning and through rough handling and treatment. Many scenes were simply too horrific to show. Indeed, much of what you will see in this film is not only cruel, but also breaks industry codes of practices, as well as the law.
And then there is the humble chicken, one of our main protein sources. Listen to what young Mansadi has to tell you.
Hi, I'm Mansadi Mulatlehi, and I'm proudly South African. Question is, am I proudly human? Or can I be proudly South African without being proudly human? All too complicated. Maybe not. Join me on this journey that led to this dilemma. See, this is what I think is really uncool. This egg box here suggests that the hens that laid these eggs enjoyed the great outdoors. They saw the clouds, scratched around the ground for bugs, and generally had a great time. Not so. come and see how they really lived. Just hours after hatching, these tiny chicks' toes are cut off. Then, at just 10 days old, their beaks are cut and cauterized with a red-hot blade. The operation has to hit the nerve, or the beaks will grow again. Think of it as a trip to the dentist without the local anesthetic. But why, I hear you ask?
Modern farming methods have taken the humble hen off the soil and into the crammed conditions of the battery cage. To get to the food in front means clambering over your cage mates, and fewer toenails means less damage to the backs of your sisters. As for their beaks, well, chickens are meant to use their sharp beaks and fantastic eyesight to peck and forage for food. In the barren confines of a battery cage, there's nothing to peck at except your sisters. The point is, we've decided to alter the chicken to fit the cage. Imagine living your entire lifetime in a space allowance that is only 75% of an A4 sheet of paper. No soil, only bars. No sun, only dim light to subdue you. No fresh air, no sky, no grass, not even the ability to walk or run. Unable to satisfy basic instincts, such as dust bathing and laying eggs in a nest. At least in a free-range operation, the hens have got that much. In order to get maximum egg output from them, this is what humans have designed for the egg-laying chicken, whose legendary mothering instincts have inspired prose, poetry, and artists down the ages. Then there are the chickens we use for meat. Selectively bred over thousands of generations to gain weight very quickly, and to be big-breasted, their legs can barely hold them up anymore. Millions die crippled like this, unable even to reach the water outlet. They are slaughtered at just 6 weeks old, but even before that, thousands will die of heart failure. These genetically manipulated broiler chickens would not survive under natural conditions.
Stop! Can we as humans justify this cruelty to farm animals? These animals have feelings just like us and like the pets that we love. Are we human? If so, are we proudly human? Make the right choice, and you can make a difference. Wildlife, discovering the animals around us. When someone mentions the word wildlife, most of us immediately think of the big game animals such as rhinos, elephants, lions and antelope. Some of us may even be lucky enough to visit nature reserves to see these animals. Many cities have parks or educational centers for day visits, and one can see wild animals such as crocodiles, monkeys and birds in a semi-natural environment. In aquariums, there are sharks, turtles and dolphins, as well as many varieties of fish. These are all beautiful wild animals that also need to be respected and treasured by us for future years. Because most of these wild animals are restricted to reserves and parks, most of us may never see them in real life at all. Looking at videos and picture books is our only option. But stop. Look around you now. Listen to the sounds. What do you see and hear? Yes, wildlife is around us everywhere. Many little animals have adapted to living in the cities and houses amongst all the hustle and bustle of our modern life. These little creatures are just as fascinating as the larger ones found in reserves. A tree near your house or school can be home to birds, insects and small mammals. Walls hide lizards, ants or spiders. Small bushes shelter frogs, caterpillars or beetles. Flowers are visited by birds, bees and other insects. You'll see that every animal is especially adapted to suit the way it lives. It is an absorbing and humbling experience to watch the busy lives of some of these tiny creatures. Come, let us now, for a few minutes, become wildlife detectives or ecologists, and let us discover and learn a little more. Most of the beautiful sounds you hear from the trees come from many different types of birds. You will probably recognize doves, swallows, starlings and weavers. They are common little birds. But also look out for hardy-daws, sunbirds and hammerkops. Try and get to know the many different birds around you and learn their names. Study the different shapes of their beaks. Beak shape depends on what type of food the bird eats. Note the shape of their feet. Listen to their calls and the way they answer each other. Watch the way in which they build their nests. Some birds will come right into your garden looking for nesting material, such as wool, cloth, or even bits of plastic. Did you know that some birds migrate to other countries at a certain time each year? One type of bird can fly for about 150 hours without stopping, a journey of over 11,000 kilometers. There are so many different types of birds around us and so much to learn. Bird watching can be a fascinating and lifelong hobby. On a warm, sunny day, you may notice lizards and spiders on walls or rocks. These little creatures are useful to us because they eat pests such as flies, mosquitoes, and midges. Do not harm or trap these animals. Instead, study them. Find out where the spider's web is. Examine its pattern and beauty. Work out how it traps its prey. Did you know that a spider's silk is the strongest natural fiber known in the world? It can hold up to 4,000 times its weight. Remember, if you move any rocks to find these little creatures, always put the rocks back carefully in the same place. These rocks are the homes of these little animals. You don't like your house being broken into, and nor do they. Lizards, snakes, and tortoises are all reptiles. Find out what makes them similar. Snakes help keep the numbers of mice and other rodents down. Never kill a snake unnecessarily. Walk away from it, or call an informed person to help if it is too near human habitats. Snakes are also interesting animals and belong on this earth with us. Try and identify some of them. Not all are poisonous or dangerous. Watch how lizards and geckos walk up a vertical wall. Find out how they can do this. If you are lucky enough, you may see one roll out its sticky tongue to catch a fly. Did you know that a chameleon can look forwards and backwards at the same time by swiveling each eye separately? Tortoises, unlike lizards and snakes, are slow-moving and will rather retreat into their shells if threatened. They eat mostly plant material and are harmless to other animal life. They feel pain just as we do,